Hey, so I don't know whether you've noticed or not, but I have an abnormally large head. Actually, that may not be the best way of putting it. It's just that my cranium has a greater circumference than the average man's cranium. And it's funny because, see, my senior year of high school, my granddad died. And afterwards, when we were going through his home and rifling through his possessions, my dad found this white Stetson that he had owned. And he knew how much I wanted a Stetson hat, and so he gave it to me. And I tried it on, and it didn't fit. It was too tight. And I thought, this is weird. I'm 17 years old. Why doesn't my grandfather's hat fit me? Why won't it go over my head? So anyway, I thought that was weird. But then several years later, my other grandfather passed away. And at the wake, after his funeral, my grandmother gave me this wool fedora, which she knew I liked. And my grandfather had a lot of hats, but he didn't actually wear hats that much. And I tried it on, and it fit perfectly. And that's how I came to learn two things. One is that different men have or can have different head sizes, even if they're roughly the same height and build. And the second thing is where I got my giant head from. Let me show you something. Let's see. Do we have a picture of me and my grandfather? Could we get a look at one where I'm standing right next to him, so our heads are right next to each other? Okay, yeah, this is from Christmas 6 years ago. That's obviously my grandmother there with us. So you can see, yeah, he had a pretty big head. I mean, in that picture, my head, you can't actually tell. My head doesn't look that big, and yet for some reason, this hat he wore, we have the same hat size apparently. But my grandmother told me this story. One year for Christmas, or maybe it was for his birthday, someone gave him a hat as a gift. I don't think it was this hat. I think it was a different hat. It might have been this hat. But somebody gave him a hat, and he didn't wear hats that much, but he wore it to church one day because it was raining. Then by the end of the service, it had stopped raining. So he didn't wear his hat out of the church, and he left it at church. And they'd kind of forgotten about it. And then later that day, according to my grandmother, someone showed up at their door, and they had my grandfather's hat with them. And they were like, we were all gathering around the pew trying to figure out whose hat this was, and it didn't have a name in it, but somebody said it must be Bodie's because no one else has a head that big. So, yeah, that's where I get my giant head from. Now, every pair of glasses I own looks like this. I get them and they're like normal, like that. And then after wearing them so often, they're bowed out like that. Yeah. And here's something interesting. My grandmother also told me that these are my mom's parents I'm talking about. This abnormally large head is not something I developed recently. When I was born, I weighed 10.5 pounds, and I think between 2 and 3 pounds of that was just head. And according to my mom and my dad and everyone else who was there at or shortly after my birth, when they saw the babies in the nursery, there were all these beautiful little newborns, dressed in pink or blue swaddling clothes, and then there was this one enormous baby that looked like it was about 4 months old, and it was the only one that wasn't wearing a hat, because according to them, they kept trying to put the little blue hat on my head, and it kept popping off because my head was so big. So, my grandmother, the one who gave me this hat, died a week ago, and her funeral was yesterday. And I was just thinking about it, because I was wearing this hat because, well, it seemed appropriate, and also I wear this hat in the winter because it keeps my head warm. But I'm really grateful for all the time I spent with her and all she shared with me. And I'm glad that she and my grandfather are together again. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I think pretty interesting. Oh, well. Oh, yeah, I have a website. And there's probably also a blog. But I got about a week of classes left. I'll be coming out with a bunch of videos this December while I'm out of school. So keep watching.